We would like to introduce you to the official affiliate network of CAP, the only iGaming network in the world that empowers you with the data you need to make intelligent, competitive business decisions. If you're looking to drive revenue to your brands, then join the most cutting-edge network in the world for managing your offers, reporting, and payments. Sign up at stats.casinoaffiliateprograms.com to begin promoting the top iGaming offers on the web.
Hey everyone, it's Warren Jolly with CasinoAffiliatePrograms.com, and I want to welcome you to today's interview with Chris Morton. He's been involved in the iGaming industry since 2002, starting out as a webmaster for OnlineGambling.com in Australia. I've known Chris probably since 2006. We met at one of our events back in Miami called Cap Spring Break, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And over the last decade, Chris has switched from working sort of on the affiliate manager side to the operational side of Poker.com, Poker Nordica, Power Poker, and Bookmaker.com.au most recently. Now Chris is heavily involved in the binary options niche as an affiliate and recently won an award for Best Binary Option Affiliate in January in London at the IGB affiliate event. So Chris, it's great to have you. Really interesting transition you've made. I guess we just want to start out by understanding, first of all, how did you get involved in the gaming sector back in the good old days, and then what sort of made or led the transition for you into the binary space?
Yeah, well, hello, Warren. Firstly, basically, I was working for an online media company where we focused on basically developing a lot of websites. We had actually also trying to do a search engine at the time, and then basically one day our owner said that he had bought a few gambling domains, and he sort of asked me to sort of do a little sub project, and that was working on OnlineGambling.com. So basically, it was just starting a portal, lots of information. I had to do a lot of research myself, but my background prior to that was actually doing a lot of SEO work back in the days of 2002, 2001. Where it was a bit of the wild, wild west, I guess, with Google in terms of, ranking websites and understanding how to rank websites. And then, my job was basically to do that for OnlineGambling.com at the time. And, I was able to achieve, I think, within 9 months, I was able to get it to number one. And then from there, we actually saw a lot of revenue come into the site. Tried to fill out the site to be quite comprehensive. We also purchased a few more domains as well, and trying to get them ranked, a few slot domains, casino domains. So basically, that has been sort of my background about a decade ago. That's where it all started.
And you recently, I think you went from that space into the poker industry, I remember, for a while, and then made this transition into binary. So tell us a little bit about why you went from casino to then poker to then binary.
Yeah, well, it went from the transition to poker came about was that the same boss I was working for at the time had done a deal where we were managing Poker.com, and then actually made that into our own software as well, and actually became another online poker room out there competing with all the guys like PokerStars, Phil Tilt. And part of that role in the early days was I was actually had a bit of a dual role. I was still managing my affiliate portals, OnlineGambling.com, but also being an affiliate manager for Poker.com. And I've done that for about the first sort of year or so. Then I actually went overseas and actually lived in Malta for about 4 to 5 years. Working for a smaller skin on the Poker.com network, which became Merge Gaming at the time, and did that for about 4 years. And then from there, I came back home and actually hooked up with my old boss again, and he was actually developing a whole bunch of horse racing websites. Horse racing in Australia is quite huge and sort of an untapped market, and that's about 2 to 3 years ago. And he actually also then decided to actually get his own sportsbook going, which has now actually been, I think, acquired by Ladbrokes, and so that they're now the Australian version of Ladbrokes, that same group. But sort of in the midst of all this, I actually always had been doing my own little projects on the side where I was always been interested in SEO, and I also just like to see how to sort of rank sites and make a bit of side income. And then there's one particular one was I started getting interested in Forex. Actually, I saw it on a few sites. I think even on Cap as well. So I was actually doing a bit of research about Forex and maybe getting a Forex site going. And then I came across a binary options banner, which I believe I actually saw it first on Cap. And that sort of took my interest and sort of just researched a bit about that. And then the first thing I did was actually go do some domain research. And so I did a few whoisers and tried to see what domains were available. As I'm based in Australia, it's quite easy to register the .com.au domains, .net.au domains. So that was sort of my first focus. I wasn't able to get binaryoptions.com.au, but I got .net.au and a few other ones. And based on getting that, I just basically did a bit more research, went out into the freelance world and basically commissioned some guys to get some content for me, really basic content. This is about 2 years ago. And put up a site. I was still sort of working at the time in a full-time job, but this is just sort of something I did at nights. And then, about 3 months later, some commissions started coming in, and I couldn't figure out where these commissions were coming in from. Basically, I went back, sort of traced it back, and it was this binary option site. A few of the brokers I'd put up initially were actually, I was getting some rankings in Google, and actually converting to some real money traders. So after sort of a bit more research, and I actually could see it had quite a bit of potential. And at the time, I sort of was in a bit of a transition period of my full-time job, where I sort of wanted to go out on my own and basically sort of become my own boss and have that sort of dream. So there was a bit of a period there where it was a bit of a risk. That no money was coming in, but I sort of had to sort of really back myself and on all the skills and knowledge I'd learnt over the last decade, basically making other guys rich, managing their domains, and then sort of gave it a go myself. And I was able to, once I went full time, I was just able to put so much effort into the site that the rankings just got stronger, and had a real sort of actually golden period of some really high conversions. And I think I was probably one of the first to really get into the binary option affiliate space, and also pretty much capture the market for the Australian sector. I still to this day, I haven't really come across a comprehensive or competitor in my space in Australia. Definitely worldwide, there's quite a lot of affiliates out there now, but definitely in Australia, which was my focus from day one, was to just be good at attracting sort of traffic within google.com.au. I didn't want to focus on .com or anything else. I just thought that's always a bit of a hard to get a few easy wins. Whereas if I just focus on google.com.au, I'm probably going to be more successful and get more encouraged that way and build a business from there. So that's where I'm at to this point. So sort of 2 to 3 years later, being able to basically have my own business, and I'm very happy, actually. So it's going really well.
Terrific. And so you are still primarily focused on the Australian market?
Yeah, but what I found is that the site actually gets a lot of traffic from all over the world. Initially, it was like probably a split of 80% Australian visitors to 20% rest of the world, whereas now it's like 60% Australian, probably like 25% US, and then another the rest of the percentages the rest of the world. I've actually about probably a year ago, I sort of looked into YouTube as a way to actually produce content and video content, and really went at that pretty hard, and actually get probably almost 30% of my traffic right now is coming from YouTube. And I've actually been able to see, just looking through my analytics and seeing the conversions that come from YouTube, it's been really a good part of the business. And YouTube being the world's second biggest search engine, it's definitely something that I'm glad I got into. And that's really helped the business as well.
These videos that you do on YouTube, are they basically educating folks on the best trades, or just educating the market on how to trade binary options? Is that in essence of what you're doing on YouTube?
Yeah, well, I started doing the videos myself, and what I did was just did basic, sort of really generic, really newbie type reviews of websites. Nothing too major, just saying, look, here is, say, bank to binary. This is where you go to click to actually trade. This is the trading platform. Nothing really too out of the ordinary that you couldn't find out yourself. But I was finding that it was getting a lot of views. Like one of my videos has over 100,000 views itself to this day. Then what I saw after a bit more research was there was some really technical stuff out there, and I'm not a trader myself. Whilst I looked into it and done a lot of research and understand online trading a lot more now, I knew I had to actually get some experts on board. So again, I went out into the freelance world and actually found some online traders, some forex traders. Didn't know too much about binary options. So my sort of goal with them was to actually try and use their knowledge in the forex world and actually try and apply it to guys wanting to trade with a binary option. And that's actually been really good. There's a few guys out there that have actually been with me for over a year now. Just basically, they're sort of consultants, I guess, and I just sort of pay them per video. So when they have time, they'll put up maybe a daily analysis video of a few forex pairs out there, like say the US dollar versus the Australian dollar, and where they see good trades coming. And then from that, the next step was I actually have done now a series of trading courses. There's like a beginner course. It's like a 12-part series on how to trade binary options, and it goes from very basic things to like what charting programs should you use, what are technical indicators, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, how to trade news. Then there's like an intermediate course on top of that where it gets a bit more complicated, and then now I've got an advanced course. And they're your real factual things where you're educating people. So getting the real, say, a newbie sort of guy who'll basically go to YouTube and type in, how to trade binary options, or how to use a support and resistance in trading. But what I've actually found is like they're actually really good factual videos. But what I've actually found is my videos where it's from like an actual, I guess, a fellow person have actually been the most popular. In some of my videos, I actually show my face and I speak, and actually just from a real sort of, I guess, a layman's point of view, I guess that maybe translates to the viewers out there. So I've actually now, my next goal is to probably try and really build my brand, even myself as a personality of my website, so people can really sort of start interacting and I can start interacting with them. And I've done a lot more sort of, I guess, research on the benefits of YouTube, and it's actually a really exciting space you can sort of get into, I think. And that with running a website, I think it's a sort of a really good medium to build a business.
And have you now found that you've been able to replace your full-time income doing this business?
I was able to basically within the first 6 months, I guess I had a monthly period where it was higher than my full-time wage. Mm-hmm. And then from then it's never dropped below that. So within a very short space of time, I was able to easily replace what I was making in my full-time job on a monthly basis. And now, been more than comfortable with the job, in terms of the revenues coming through. It's been really encouraging, can't be happier with the outcome. You have to sort of stay on top of it. You got to work every day till you work every day still, but I actually find I actually enjoy what I do. So I actually can't wait to get up, check the stats on the website, think about the direction of where I can take the website, how I can make it better. Like every day of the week, I can do something different. Like one day I might be checking, is the website fast enough? Do I need to upgrade my hosting, which I recently did the other day. I found out I was actually my site was actually growing, and it was starting to like hit a few spots where too much traffic was coming in, and it was actually the site was slowing down. So I recently had to upgrade that. I do a lot of, I guess my background is SEO. I do a lot of the SEO myself naturally, but also I actually build the site myself. I actually still do the HTML. So that's a huge overhead that I don't have to outsource. So what I found, I actually just outsource all my stuff in terms of basically content, in terms of articles on the site. I get experts in their field to do that, and a lot of those guys will just upload that for me. They upload their videos to YouTube, and I'm sort of managing these contractors. Yeah, it's actually, it is a full-time job, but if I do want to take, if I've just had enough and I'm sort of a bit brain dead, I just basically, it could be lunchtime and I'll just basically stop, drop tools and go do something, where it's, do some exercise or catch up with someone. I just love the freedom that this job gives me, and I can do it from anywhere in the world as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great. The constraints of being in an office 9 to 5 never really ever suited me. Really never suited my personality. So to get to where I am today and sort of be the master of my own sort of destiny has been a real confidence builder, and you just sort of have grown from there. Great.
And just touching on SEO quickly, because obviously it's such a huge topic for guys both in the binary and obviously the traditional gambling space. You've been in the space for a long time, Chris, and you've seen all the evolutions as far as what's happened in the SEO's side of things. What advice can you give to fellow affiliates watching this video and other internet marketers as far as what they need to do now as far as SEO goes? What the old mentality of SEO was, and what matters today and what actually drives results. Can you just give us some brief insight into that?
Yeah, it's quite challenging, the SEO. Like, I sort of actually don't sort of worry about what Google's doing so much. Don't really actually even really check so much where I'm ranking anymore. I just really try and just focus on making a quality website in terms of an experience for the guys who come to my website. So just try and imagine there was no Google. And actually just try and focus on having a good website. If you came to your site, does it make sense? Have you actually categorized all your different subsections of the site correctly? And when you sort of start thinking like that, I think that's where you sort of can put your best foot forward. Once you start trying to think, how can I just rank number one for a key term and what's it going to take? You sort of get a bit sidetracked. Whereas in the past, you could do, I guess, a lot of technical things SEO wise, like with keywords and keyword densities and incoming links. Having lots of incoming links can help you rank. Whereas these days, Google keeps saying to you that just try and make your site good for the end user, and that's what I try and focus on. You still have to do a lot of just basics. Just basically, the best thing is to bring up the Google's guide, and I just basically do things like in the title tag can't be more than 60 characters, and just do lots of basic things like that. You should still do. You still need some links from other people to your site, but just have to think that why would someone want to link to you? So that means you've got to make a good article on one of your news posts, and that's where some good links will come in. But yeah, it's quite challenging. Like I don't proclaim to be an expert in SEO. I just try and bring it back to common sense, and SEO is just one part of your business and your website. So I don't know if that has brought any real insight, but I don't have any real major secrets to ranking. Like I've lost rankings over the years. Even my site now doesn't rely so much on my Google organic search so much. My number one key term now is actually someone typing in my domain name. So my brand of my site has actually overtaken. Like I was ranking, for example, in google.com.au, my number one organic search term was, say, binary space options, whereas now it's binaryoptions.net.au. So people have come to my site and have returned to my site, and I've actually focused on my site becoming a bit sticky in terms of have made a little member section where guys can track their broker accounts via my link to make sure I get them the best deals. Just doing little things like that. I actually don't give out my videos free on my website. I ask them just to join, and when they join, they get the videos for free. So things like that have actually built up my membership. I have a newsletter that I regularly send out daily and weekly and monthly, and the newsletter traffic is actually really good traffic, converts really well. If a new broker comes on board, or say there's a new binary option signal service, I send out a newsletter and I can just see the conversions that day come in to real money customers. So just trying to focus on that end user experience with having your technical SEO in the background, making sure the articles you put on your site are not just regurgitated and actually have some sort of new point of difference, have some sort of meaning behind them, whether it's just your point of view on what's happening in binary options, what's your point of view on a website review, on a broker review, your take on technical analysis in binary options. There's so many things you can do. The whole binary option signals side of things is quite massive itself. That I've seen that grow in the last sort of couple of years, that people want trade signals. So that's almost like a whole subsection of binary options and forex as well. I guess that's sort of.
So it sounds like you're not out there acquiring links, doing things like that. You're just letting it organically build based on the credibility and branding of your site. Now, how do you, outside of SEO, are you doing any paid media? Are you buying any traffic to the site, or?
Well, I started that touched on it about 6 months ago, and I do have a budget towards buying traffic. I've mainly exclusively pretty much through AdWords and AdWords for YouTube. I found that I've sort of given away doing anything with keyword advertising. It's very, very expensive. For example, you could pay up to like $30 to $40 for one keyword click on a binary options term, which is hugely expensive, and you're going up against the actual broker advertisers with huge budgets. But what I've sort of focused on was trying to come up with a YouTube strategy, and that's actually been really good. You can get a lot of really cheap clicks, as low as 5 cents, 10 cents, compared to say a $30 click. And YouTube has got a number of ways that you can you can actually get traffic to your website. You can get it through true view displays. So if you go to YouTube, you type in it, you go to actually watch a video, and you get like a little pre-roll that comes in that gives you a chance for you to advertise either your website, your product, and if someone clicks on that to go to your website, that's one way to get them in. And YouTube's really powerful. AdWords is really powerful with their basically with their tools, with what you want to target, the demographics you want to target. It's just so powerful. Sometimes it's actually a bit overwhelming. But yeah, I sort of started my AdWords education 6 months ago, and my goal was that I knew I wasn't going to know everything about AdWords in the first month, but I tell you what, I know a lot. Still keeping with it 6 months later, I've learned so many things, little tricks over the last sort of 6 months, that I've actually got my campaigns now down to what sort of works, what doesn't work, and actually trying to get the actual funnel and actually see where they've clicked on this link in YouTube on this website. It's gone to my site. It's bounced out to this advertiser, say Bank to Binary, and that actually was a sale. I can actually now pretty much track most of that and actually see which campaigns work in terms of last click return on investment. But one thing I've also learned is that it's not always the last click return on investment that you need to sort of focus on. Sometimes a guy might say, find your site via a YouTube search. He just comes across one of my YouTube videos. The next time he actually sees my site via a YouTube ad. Next time he actually searches in Google and types in binaryoptions.net.au. Maybe it's on that third time he actually went to a broker and made a sale. So I can't worry about so much that this particular campaign didn't actually give me a return on investment, but it may have assisted in so many different other ways. So there's lots of things that I've you've got to really look at your sort of analytics once you start paying for media, and actually try and define what's working and what's not. And that is it's a bit of a science in itself. But I've just said to myself, I'm not gonna be able to be an expert if I don't give this a go. So I've just set aside a small budget every month. I'm prepared to I don't make any money from this budget, but over time, I reckon I'll get there, and it will help assist with the branding of my website. And I think it's really working. Like my YouTube site is just, I think it's got over 600 subscribers right now. Like I'd hope to have by the end of the year, maybe 3,000 subscribers, if not more. That can be a big part of the business outside of just people going to my website. So if I'm not relying just on organic search, I'm also sort of having a bit of a 2 or 3 pronged attack and keeping a few balls in the air. I've also gone a bit into Bing as well, had a look at their what they have to offer, and what else? Yeah, like going back in terms of SEO, I still do try and acquire links, but what I've done is trying to acquire links in terms of like branding for my website. So it might be doing something like there's like, say, one example is there's SlideShare, and they basically like a PowerPoint service. And a lot of the videos that I've had guys created in terms of a course, they actually do it in a PowerPoint type version. So I've ripped down those PowerPoints and then put them onto SlideShare, put a bit of content up there, and that can be another really good incoming link into my site. Even if it's a no follow, it's still a good link that other search engines might like, or if Google changes the way they do their algorithm, whatever, that can be seen as a good link. Another thing I've done is do podcasts. Like a lot of my videos I put onto iTunes as well, so that's another good incoming link. I'm just trying to focus on not like it is a link, but actually trying to focus on what I'm doing is actually providing, say, iTunes with some content. So that's got to be a good thing. So that's sort of the way I try and do the links, is that it's providing content on some other website over here, and they just happen to give me a link back, and that's great. Sure, I've done it all. Instead of wasting my time going and writing emails to all other webmasters out there that have binary option websites and saying, can I get a link on this page? And he's like, oh yeah, but you're going to have to get a link on this page over here, and playing off like my page rank is this, my page rank is that. I stopped doing that about almost 2 years ago. It's just, I don't think it's worth it. And just trying to have a different strategy and try and think how best to get links. And as I mentioned in that example, it's just trying to look at websites that provide or want content and are happy to give you a link back. Like if you create a Pinterest account, that gives you a link back. So you just make sure you build up that. MySpace, there's all sorts of things you can upload content. So I'm just trying to basically build my site as a brand and try and find different social networks where it allows you to give them content. It's your content, and then they'll obviously, give you a link back or have their own. You actually start building I have a Twitter feed as well. I've got a guy who manages my Twitter account, my business Twitter account, and he actually tries to post meaningful things in binary options, like saying that the US unemployment report is coming up, guys. It's coming up at 3 o'clock. Be ready for it. I think is going to be an uptrend on gold or something like that, and actually try and build a following like that. And I've actually started to see I'm getting some conversions coming through. Clicks will come to my site and click off to a broker from Twitter. So that's sort of what I've been focusing on.
Do you do any Twitter or Facebook paid advertising?
Yeah, I haven't done Twitter because I think you have to have I think most of it has been locked down to US advertisers. They have released it to some Australian advertisers, but you need quite a substantial budget. I put in a request for it, but I don't think, even if they actually got back to me, I don't think I'd probably be willing to spend what they want you to spend as a minimum yet for my business. In terms of Facebook, I've given Facebook a go, and I've done things like, because Facebook has sort of a couple of different angles. You can do like advertising into your page so you get likes, or you can get bounced out straight to your website. And it's I've done campaigns where I've got guys to like my page. I'd give them a free trade signal. I'd give them a strategy to trade binary options. And I got my Facebook page up to 10,000 likes, but I don't know if that's guys are still really sort of active on there. Like I might have these 10,000 likes, but I don't know if anyone's really interested in me posting to Facebook. So I've sort of gone away from Facebook a bit, but I have given it a go. But I've sort of just decided over the sort of last sort of quarter that I'm going to put everything into YouTube and my YouTube channel and my paid advertising through YouTube. And And if I can spend more on there, and I know it's working for me now, then that's where I'm going to put my budget. Doesn't mean it doesn't work, but I just sort of don't have the time and found I was spreading myself a bit too thin.
Okay. And
yeah,
one question about the commercials in the binary space. I mean, we get asked this question quite a bit. First of all, a couple questions rather. What's the difference between a affiliate and an introducing broker?
Yeah. With I guess an introducing broker, that's more of a term that I actually hadn't heard of until about 2 years ago when I started researching becoming, say, a Forex affiliate. And introducing broker, from what I understand, is might be someone who is actually an actual, maybe a trader themselves with a background or a willingness to teach other people to become traders. And what they can do is that maybe they've set up an online website that's a course on how to trade Forex. And they basically say, I'll actually become your personal mentor and I'll be there for you. And what they can do is they can actually say, all right, now that I'm teaching you how to trade Forex, this is the broker of my choice. And he actually introduces these traders into the broker, introducing broker. So could be someone basically who does real life seminars. So they might travel around Australia, for example, from Brisbane to Sydney, and they might say, look, if you want to learn to trade Forex, come to my session, it's free. They might get an audience of, say, 1,000 people, and gives out business cards and saying, he's sort of maybe selling a course. So you might say, you have to buy my course for $1,000 or whatever. And I'll teach you how to trade Forex. I'll become your mentor for a year, and my broker of choice is XYZ. Mm. And from that, you can give a lot of basically, that introducing broker can make a lot of money for all those referrals. On the affiliate side of things is you're just signing up to a program. You're getting an affiliate link, and you're just putting on your website. So it's just a bit of tracking code, which is what I've been familiar with in my casino and poker days, and now binary option days. It seems like binary options doesn't really have introducing broker programs. It's more pretty much affiliates. And probably what I've also I've seen on the binary options space is that it seems to be more guys who know how to maybe run a website and be an SEO guru and then get into the binary space, rather than say there's a guy out there who's really, really knowledgeable on binary options but doesn't know how to run a website, but somehow gets a website going, and then he's just putting really good content on the website. There's a few guys out there like that. Whereas maybe in Forex, it's maybe I'm just guessing a bit, but it's a bit more 50-50, that you've got some really good Forex gurus out there and have some really outstanding websites, and they've just somehow outsourced all their technical needs. And there's probably on the other side, there's probably guys out there that just know there's some money to be made from referring Forex traders, and have actually gone out there and actually bought some domain names, got some content going, got the rankings, and just seeing the customers come in. So yeah.
Okay. And as far as the commercials go, a lot of the brokers obviously are offering CPA. Are you familiar with revenue share becoming more important? I mean, I would expect that the industry would evolve to that, but we just haven't seen a lot of it. So what have you found as far as the business model goes?
Yeah, well, I started out with CPA with all my deals, which is quite good when you're a new business, because you can get sort of money coming through a lot, a higher amount coming through quite better. And you can get quite high CPAs because the minimum deposit for most brokers, say, around about $200. So you can sort of demand a CPA between $200 to $300, which is quite high when you compare it maybe to maybe to poker, which has probably got a bit less over the years. But I have switched to a few deals where are exclusively rev share, and I'm also doing some hybrid deals where I get a CPA plus a rev share. And I found that that's probably what I like the most, that I sort of covering my bases both ways. On all my rev share deals, I've never had a negative month. It's always been a positive month, which has been good. But you'll find, like, if you get, like they say, the lifetime revenue, say, of a binary options trader might be around about $1,000. So if you're actually getting, a $300 dollar rev share, you're not really cutting yourself out of too much commission, because if you say you're on, say, a 30% rev share commission, you're getting the same amount, $300. So a CPA rev share, I don't think you can sort of go wrong which way you choose. But I think rev share is better when you really work with an advertiser over a long period. I have seen deposits of up to over $50,000 come through my accounts, up to $100,000. So if you have a bit of rev share on that, as opposed to, say, a $200 CPA, you've just cut yourself out a lot of revenue if you've gone for the CPA. Whereas if you're on the rev share, you're sharing in a high profit for that particular month. So yeah, I would probably suggest to new guys, definitely start out on a CPA. Even to this day, if a new broker comes to me, I'll start on a CPA. I don't even actually care how much they give me. I just want to actually see that they actually convert, that they're doing their job well. You get to learn which guys are good in terms of their operations. Like in binary options, the guys need to have a very good sales team. They need to be on the phone calling up the customers and getting them on the phone and talking to them. That really converts into leads and into deposits. And you can sort of quickly learn which guys are better at that than not. So I'm actually happy to take a smaller CPA if I know it's going to convert 10 times better than a larger one. So you just really have to test guys out. I usually pretty much now have a concrete sort of top 3 brokers that I trust, and then maybe position 4 and 5, I'll sort of switch from month to month and see how they convert, and maybe they push up the ladder. Another thing in the industry is regulation as well. There's regulated brokers and there's non-regulated brokers. There's regulated brokers in jurisdictions that I don't know if it really means much to basically my Australian traders. I guess, for example, if you have a SISEC regulation, which is the Cyprian one, which is supposed to be an EU one as well, if that really even means much to someone in Australia anyway. Whereas maybe an ASIC regulated broker, which is an Australian license, actually can really mean something. So I try and push that. There's a few Australian brokers out there that I'm now working with quite closely, and I think my conversions are a bit better because an Australian trader is obviously going to trust a local jurisdiction compared to someone who's maybe registered in Malta or Cyprus or some other offshore location. But in saying that, it doesn't detract from conversions. Still, some of my best converting brokers are ones that aren't regulated at all, but they have a very good sound system. They process out the withdrawals. They come across to the traders quite well. So it's not the be all and end all.
So without hurting anyone's feelings, can you give us maybe your top 3 or 5 who you think are the best brokers in terms of guys who are really doing their job well as far as converting and retaining traders?
Yeah, from my point of view, I've had a pretty good relationship with Bank to Binary. They've been a bit up and down in the media in terms of pulling out of the US, in terms of advertising there back in the very early days, whereas probably a bit wild west, and binary options was moving way faster than any sort of regulatory body anyway. So, but in terms of Australia, they now have a SISEC license, which is also, I think, an FSA license in the UK, which sort of Australian customers will quite trust. But I convert very, very well Bank to Binary. I know they're quite aggressive with their marketing and have a pretty well-oiled machine, so they're going quite good. But if I talk to other affiliates, they mightn't particularly think they convert well for them. Some other brokers that have done well for me in the past is the Rush Bucks program. They have brands Trade Rush, I think Redwood, and another one. I did really well with them in the early days, but I think I also had some very good rankings with them in the early days as well. And another one that I promote right now is called whichway.com, which is an Australian broker. They're based in Sydney, and they have the ASIC license. They also have a Forex platform. What I've found is a lot of the brokers in Australia that have binary option products is that it's on the back end of their Forex products as well. So that they're doing quite good as well. What other brokers out there? Yeah, they're probably my top three at the moment. But there's quite a few that I've done well. What I'm also finding is I'm doing quite well with actually promoting signal services. A lot of those guys have affiliate programs, so you can actually promote different binary option signal services out there. Guys are really looking for that. So that's another way to have another income stream into your website. It's not just putting guys into brokers. You can actually put guys into other signal services. That's proving really, really good as well. One of the best ones I've had in the last month was promoting a binary option robot, who basically it does auto trading on your behalf in a binary options broker, and that's actually been selling like hotcakes on my website. It's just been unbelievable. Guys have been really interested in that, and I've actually published quite a lot of YouTube videos. I did my first Google Hangout where using the Google Hangout service and actually talking about how to use the binary option robot. A lot of guys actually want to see someone actually deposit it into these things. It actually works before they are willing to do the step themselves.
Sure.
So I just, all right, I'm going to go through the whole process, bring up the website, do the sign up form, put in my credit card details, and actually start using the product. And if once you start to do things like that, put it on YouTube, make an article on your website, guys are just going to read that. If someone's typed in, binary option robot, they're halfway there to that they really want to know about it. And if you can give them some bit of content, then that's most likely going to help in the conversion. So I see right now there's lots of opportunity to produce content because the search need is out there. So if you're definitely interested in getting into binary options, I think you can definitely have some success if you do it in the right have the right strategy.
And what's next for you, Chris? I mean, are you thinking about mobile as a strategy? Or I know a lot of guys have seen brokers coming out with their own apps and starting to push the distribution on that side. What's the future for you and your business?
Well, one of the biggest things I did was actually make sure my site was responsive. So I did a whole upgrade I think it was about 3 months ago. And actually, so my site is responsive in terms of it's actually the same code. So it's actually sort of maintenance-wise going forward, it has been brilliant because it's the one set of code and it fits to the format of a tablet, of an iPad, a mobile phone, and also a website, but it's the same code. So it's not like one bit of code for mobile, one bit of code for my website or desktop. So that was actually quite exciting because the responsive frameworks out there. There's some really good ones out there. I use Bootstrap, and it's really easy to use coding wise. So that's helped in terms of I'm still the jury's out for me in terms of guys trading on their mobile. So there might still be a lot of traffic coming in like mobile searches, but whether you can convert that to someone who actually downloads say the Bank to Binary mobile app, deposits and starts trading. That probably hasn't come about yet, but I'm definitely getting mobile searches, but at the moment it's a very small part of the business, but I've got my website ready anyway. So the website looks good in a mobile format, so I've at least ticked that off, but in terms of it converting or actually doing, say, maybe buying some media campaigns just for mobile, I haven't done anything like that. A lot of times I actually exclude mobile, so I make all my campaigns, all my media buying desktop only, and totally ruled out mobile campaigns. But I have made sure my website looks good in mobile. So what was the question again?
What else is on your horizon? What's anything else exciting in the future as far as what you're going to be doing in the space?
I'm really just trying to focus on my website and just do a bit of just consolidate it at the moment. I've actually going through a process of just doing an audit on my own website and actually going through a lot of my articles and making sure they actually make sense. A lot of the stuff I'd written a couple of years ago was when I didn't know so much about binary options myself. So I've just been going through and actually really making sure every page on my website has some meaning, and definitely making sure the top landing pages on my site are converting as best as they could. And that's sort of going to be my focus, at least in the next sort of 3 months. And long term, I'm just basically starting up another website called binarytradingfinance.com, and that's basically just going to be my worldwide version of my .com, well, my .net.au site. I am a bit restricted in terms of my website will really only rank in google.com.au, so I would like to have another little project out there that actually is getting searches in .com space. So that's sort of a side project I've got, and I've actually already got that up and running in terms of content. I've got a trader who's actually done like a three series of binary option courses from beginner to advanced. So all the content's up there. I only released the site a couple of months ago, so it's only actually getting a few organic searches right now. But in 1 year from now, that site could be really good for me. So that sort of really takes up a lot of my time as it is, yeah.
Great. All right. Well, Chris, thanks very much for your time today. Really appreciate you sharing your story and, obviously your background in both spaces. If anyone's interested in contacting Chris at the end of this interview, please send an email to interviews@casinoaffiliateprograms.com, and we'll be happy to put you in touch. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future interviews with iGaming and binary option industry leaders. Take care.